Today, we tackle the dreaded imposter syndrome, which is actually a term I don't really care for. Instead, the way I look at this phenomena is we have a feeling in our hearts like, gosh, I can just imagine myself doing this for a living. I can be helping people or creating something or spearheading something, supporting. Oh, I can just feel how good I'd be at it. I want that so much. And then one day we decide, okay, we're going to do it. And we step in to the arena. And it's funny. Once we hold our flag up and we tell everybody, hey, I'm right here. Come look, I can do this. We should do this. I'm doing this now. Our flag gets a little wobbly and we discover ourselves pulling back. And we can get really angry at ourselves for pulling back. Why are we doing this? Why are we procrastinating? Why are we not getting clients or customers or getting our work into the world? And then we delve a little deeper and we notice other feelings like, well, I don't really want to tell this person that I am perfect for them. I am exactly what they need. My product or my service, whatever it is, I mean, they couldn't do any better than with me. I feel that way, but telling them is awkward. And I wonder if they'll think that I'm just trying to sell them. I wonder if they do purchase something from me, they'll be disappointed. Like, what if I don't actually help them? What if they feel like they overpaid and they're angry and they're bitter at me? What if in reality they should actually be working or purchasing from one of my own, mentors, somebody that I look up to who's so much better than I am that, really everybody should work with them, not me. Okay. This doesn't mean just entrepreneurs here. I know that's the slant because I'm an entrepreneur and that's how I think. But I've got this great proposal to offer at work. I can get everybody on board. This is going to solve everything. You should choose my solution. And yet we kind of just let things go and we let the collective decide and we let the other louder voice in the room overshadow and we say, well, someday it'll be our turn. Someday, maybe not this time. Maybe they just didn't see it. I'm going to dig into this. We're going to get into that piece in us, that heavy millstone, that weight that pulls us down that says, yeah, just not good enough yet. No one's really going to want that. Oh, there's somebody else better. You should just wait your turn. You're not ready. You might get some blowback. Oh, we're going to blow all of that back. Because imposter syndrome, your sense of lesser worthiness, is something that should stop right this instant in your life. So let's do it. We're going to work with your mindset and we're working with your energy and flow. A little dash of woo-woo, a lot of shifting and pivoting how we approach things, but we're going to get it done. So stick with me. Flow dreaming, still kinda woo-woo, is just what it sounds like. An escape into the world of woo. Also, a ride into you and how to feel happier, wiser, and more self-aware in every way. It's your ultimate journey into personal growth and inner power. We'll explore ideas like how your energy self influences the kinds of opportunities you encounter, or how your personal growth can drive your business growth, or even how that feeling of being stuck is really always coming from something else. We just have to figure out what. That's right. We're a dash of woo-woo, a sprinkle of self-care, a heap of problem-solving and pattern-busting, and a giant cup of encouragement. We're going to relight so much passion, purpose, self-love, and confidence in you that you practically stagger. I'm Summer McStravick, your host, and welcome to Flow Dreaming, still kinda woo-woo. So I'm hoping what I did right there was absolutely nail the feelings that travel through you, the thing that lets you race ahead, and then right as you're about to grab the prize, you find yourself slowing down and pulling back. If you don't know who I am, I have been teaching and coaching for going on 20 years now. I have worked with tens of thousands of people, and in particular with the people that are really eager to perform high in their life, meaning not like they're high as they're performing. That's funny. Didn't mean it sound like that. High performers, right? Or people who are striving to be that way. We butt up against this wall all the time. We break through it continuously, in fact. And so over the years, I've come up with some perspectives on it, some strategies for handling this. And you know that you're experiencing this because you have some pretty obvious clues. This is you if you have been trying to start a side hustle or a business or break out with, your new coaching or healing or whatever it may be. And your next step is you did all the training. Like you blasted, you totally could get all the training done. In fact, kind of in hindsight, that was the fun part. You showed up, you were a good student, you did it, you learned it. It was such a pleasure. But now you're standing in the precipice of saying to other people, I've got something that I can share with you. You should pay me for it. You should pay me well for it. And that's when things get a little shaky inside. Well, maybe they shouldn't pay that well because I'm new. Maybe they shouldn't pay well because they just don't have the money. I'm working with an underserved, group of people or people that I know have stress and hardship. Maybe they shouldn't pay me at all. Maybe I need more practice time and I need more feedback and some testimonials before and you start to, this is you and your mind is starting to spool out all the reasons why you have to kind of diminish and hedge your bets and qualify what you're offering. It's like, I'm offering something amazing, but just in case it's not, I've got an out for us, okay? This is imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome in a classic sense is you're pretending to be something that you're not. And it's a weird phenomena because most of us do have a deep acknowledgement that I have a skill for this. I have a quality that uniquely makes me fit for this. I have a passion and an interest. I know more about this than we know this about ourselves. It's the translation from our own inner courage and knowing and inner confidence about who and what we are to letting other people also acknowledge that. That is the disconnect. That is the chasm that many of us are leaping over now and continuing to leap over as we move ahead in our lives. And in the intro here to today's episode, I outlined already some of the things that we end up doing, especially procrastinating, pulling back, just not getting to it quite yet. Other things came up instead. Well, there's some people I could talk to, and it's like we are giving away all of the potential clients, customers, our boss's attention. We're giving it away. It's like we're just taking what could have been ours and we're literally handing it to the person next door to us and saying, no, you can have it instead. You have it instead. And we make this weird presumption in our head that we're giving it to them, they should have it instead because somehow they've earned it more or they're better. And yet that's a false assumption. We don't know if they're any better. We don't know if they're more experienced, if they have better results, if they're superior in any way. We don't know. But we, by default, are just kicking it over to whoever else is there willing to take what we are gently pushing away. I say that because I do want to kind of trigger a feeling in you of, damn, that's not right. Why am I doing that? That's the first feeling that I want to rise up inside of you. Why are you giving it to the person next door? Would you give all of the best, beautiful things in your house, your furniture, your jewels? Would you just give it to your neighbor thinking they have better use for it than me? They can do more with this than I. No, we would never do that. Yet we do that with the most important thing we own: our beings, our time, our insight, our knowledge, our soul, our skill. The most important thing we have. We continuously say, nah, somebody else can have that instead, do that. How do we turn this around? So let me dive in for a moment and talk a bit about flow dreaming, right? That's the name of this show. Flow dreaming, still kind of woo-woo. Flow dreaming at heart is an energy technique. It's a technique for manifesting, for healing. It also revises and reshapes your entire inner emotional landscape. We practice new feelings about ourselves just about daily, or more than daily, multi-day daily, multi-times in a day daily. We are cultivating and crafting the person we want to be through actual energetic emotional exercise. It's a technique, and that's the flow dreaming technique. So everything I'm saying to you today, this mindset piece, is bookended by, okay, here's how you change this. The flow dreaming. This is the work that we do to revise this. But I always love to open up and really clearly look at what we're dealing with first. And that's what we're doing right now. If you guys are curious, by the way, I do work with you one-on-one, and I have been for the last 2 decades. So if anything I'm saying really sparks you and you're like, I am so ready to get past this and through this right now, everything I want in my life keeps hitting this wall, and it keeps making me perform under the level that I know that I could, then I really seriously want you to reach out to me. Give yourself permission to do so. I know everybody says that. Everybody's saying, reach out, I'll coach you, etc. But by virtue of sharing this thought process, this technique, this way through it today with you in this episode, I'm hoping to show to you and prove to you that this works. I do it all the time. And it's possible for you as well. And you just have to say, okay, let's do this. And now you're suddenly on the other side of the fence where the green grass and pastures are wide open. Go run with it. That's what lights up my soul and fire, bringing people to that. Anyway, reach out. My email is summer@flowdreaming.com. You can also find me on Instagram, summer_mixtravic, or look up Flow Dreaming. You can find me just about everywhere. I have a big website too at www.flowdreaming.com. Check that out too when you have a chance. So let's get back to this giving away of our power, essentially. Oftentimes, when I'm working with someone who is pretty, they've got to be kind of skilled and a go-getter and into personal growth and development, even if they come into my vision. If we start working together, I have a presumption I know this about them already, because those are the kinds of people who pursue and invest in making themselves better. But nonetheless, they've always reached a certain plateau. And the plateau is, I'm trying to shift perhaps into a new direction, a new line of work, but I keep stalling out. I can't. I don't know how, or I'm not getting clients, or I've sent out 100 resumes and I'm not getting hired, etc. And so we begin the conversation. What makes your resume the most important one to land on that hiring person's desk? Are you standing in that resume with inner power, with confidence, with awareness that you are perfect and right for this? Because that is going to come across. That is going to communicate right off a piece of paper. Paper holds energy. And that brings us then to the next point. Well, who am I to say that I'm all that? I actually don't really know. When it comes to you showing yourself to the world, stepping out with strength and boldness and like a flaming vision, you're either questioning, am I really that? Am I really good? Do I actually make an impact? And some of you are going to say, yes, actually that I do know. I'm good. And I know because I've had people say, I've had my coworkers and I've had my peers, I've had clients, customers, and they say, you're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. So I know. But some of you are like, people tell me that, but I still doubt. I still think, well, maybe they were just being nice. Or maybe they just don't have very good sense. You have to look at that. Are you disbelieving the people around you? Are you, what's the word, infantilizing, making them children like they don't know? I always give absolute, utter respect to any client that I'm working with. I assume from the get-go they're smart. They've been knocked around on life enough that they know what their decision making is. They know what they need. And sure, sometimes they've made poor decisions, but I generally trust them. I honor their intelligence. So if they say yes to me, I figure they know what they're doing. They've felt me out and they've made a good decision. On the other hand, maybe it's not about you feeling that you're doing great or good or you've got what it takes. Maybe you're instead looking at the people that you want to serve and saying, I'm wonderful, but they can't afford me. But they're not going to take me. And you're thinking it's the people around me who won't see me. They're the ones who won't see what I offer or what I can do. That's a form of imposter syndrome because you may feel strong inside, but you're not able to communicate that to the people around you. And therefore, you think they won't see you. They won't recognize you. So take a look, first of all, at which of these points I just brought up hits most closely. Because think of it like this. It's a snag. It's snagging you like a little branch in a stream, like holding back the water and the leaves. Every single person that I've worked with over my career, many of you know I came from a 10-year corporate publishing background. I worked for Hay House, a multinational, one of the biggest personal growth companies in the world. Louise Hay was my boss, and gosh, Wayne Dyer was my radio co-host and partner. I was the producer for dozens and dozens of shows and podcasts, people you know, right? Greg Braden and Susie Orman, Louise Hay, of course, Abraham Hicks, everybody. And when I first entered into that position, I did not know what I was doing at all. My boss selected me and said, I'm forming a new division of our company and I want you to lead it. I didn't have the ability to have imposter syndrome. I had to plunge in and say, I will reward your faith in me. I will learn. I will do whatever it takes because I know I can do that. However, it's a funny thing because as I transitioned into teaching and becoming a thought leader myself, can you imagine who I was having to compare myself to? Like, here's Wayne Dyer. He's showing up. We're on air together every week. We're talking and, bantering and, putting out ideas and helping people. And I'm thinking, God, I'm nowhere near this stature. I couldn't go out on a stage in front of 3,000 people and give something enlightening and enjoyable to every single one of them. I can't do that. Even my flow dreaming technique, in comparison to like what Louise Hay did to the world, why Why should I even try? Maybe I should just share it with my friends. When you're comparing yourself to others, this will trigger that deep sense of I'm not worthy and I'm not good enough and I'm still getting there. But here is the pivot on that. Here is the energetic shift. I just love it if you closed your eyes and took it into your being, into your heart right now, just right this second. Every single one of the luminaries I worked with started just like me, just like you. There was a day before they had written any books. There was an era before they lectured or taught any workshops, got on any stages, before they got their first book deal. There was a time when they were just stepping out and saying, God, I love doing this. I want to do this. And it always makes me think again of Dr. Wayne Dyer, because there was a time when he said, I want to show people different ways of thinking. And I'm going to choose to do this. And I'm starting now. And I'll see how far we go. That's it. That's all that had to happen inside him. And the same is true for everyone else I've mentioned. I have a word for this. It's called self-selecting. See, many of us wait for the world outside of us to give us recognition, to give us a certificate of completion, a degree, an award, to hire us into something. And when the outside world does this, it's like you're anointed. You have the skills now. We all see it. Bingo, you're ready, go. But oftentimes the world does not do that. Or you walk away with a certificate or a degree. Who here already has 4 or 5 of them from all the courses and things you've taken? We walk away and yet we still feel like, well, outside world told me I could do this, but I don't know. I still don't think anyone wants me, or they won't pay for me, or I don't think I could make a living at this. Self-selecting means you are choosing in this moment, someone is going to do this work. Why shouldn't it be me? Why shouldn't it be you? Why should it be anybody else instead of you? It's a real fundamental question. Because every single person you admire and look up to right now went through this exact same moment in their life at some point where they chose themselves. And when that happened, they said, maybe the world sees what I offer already and they're already validating me, or maybe the world is clueless and nobody's validating me. But guess what? I'm choosing this for myself. This is where I'm heading. This is what I'm offering. This is what I'm learning. This is what I'm giving. This is what I'm creating. This is what I'm earning. And someday the heads around me will swivel and catch up to where I am. I went through this very process myself when I said, somebody is going to be teaching and leading people into flow and into constructing this blueprint of their lives energetically forward first. And it happens that flow dreaming was gifted to me. It was gifted to me to gift to the world. And life said, the universe said, source said, we're giving it to you because we think you can handle this, hold it, and bring it out there. But if you can't, I'm sure it would have been gifted to somebody else. If I had taken it and holed up and hid, guaranteed somebody else would be out there going, hey, there's this thing, it's called dream flow or something else. But I said, no, I can do this and I want to do this. It's going to give me so much pleasure in life, working with people, kind of vicariously growing with them. It's an amazing career. I want that. And I want to be the one to hold it. So I recognized when I began, of course, I'm nowhere near, even today, of course, say Louise Hay's stature. But there was also a day when she first sat down and wrote the notes of her book, You Can Heal Your Life. And that was her beginning. And she said, I'm going to publish it myself because nobody else will understand this. And away she went. She selected herself. The world caught up to what she was already doing, that she had already decided on in her own being. So I want you to see yourself that way too, because when we end up in the power leaking position of waiting for the world to give us accolades and to accept us and to see us for who, we want to be, we could be waiting a very long time. Think about it. When a big movie star walks in a room, everyone's heads turn. They see that person walking in. It's in response to the notoriety, the fame, the artistry, whatever it may be that this person has made. The world reacts to them. They're not reacting to the world. So when we're in imposter syndrome, we are reacting to the world. If you walk in and you are not a famous movie star, most people's faces aren't going to turn to look at you. They're going to ignore you and go about their business. Think about the last time you walked into a coffee shop and got in line. Nobody looked at you at all. You weren't, the movie star walking in. But that's okay. That's normal. They'll catch up to you. They just don't know you're the movie star yet. Which brings us back to that point from earlier. Do you know that you're the movie star? Do you know that you have valuable and wonderful gifts? Sometimes when I'm working with people who say things like, I know I do a good job, I'm a great healer, I do this or that, I can, I read cards, I do Reiki, or if you're not in one of these healing fields, I'm the best researcher at the university, I've got, I should be writing lots of papers. And my comment is, did you select yourself? Are you going to be one of the top professors at this university? You have to choose that in you before anybody else will believe it or hand it to you, with a few exceptions, such as the one I described early on for myself. But this person might say, well, yeah, but I can't charge $150 an hour. I can't, nobody will buy that. Nobody will pay for that. Nobody has that kind of money. And now we're kind of veering off into a whole different episode, the money conversation episode. But people purchase things that they believe will make a difference, that they believe will hold tremendous meaning or pleasure or joy. I mean, besides getting your car fixed, right? We sometimes have to purchase things just to get around. But generally speaking, if someone says, I have been suffering from insomnia for 14 years, you happen to offer nutritional advice and coaching, and I've been listening and watching you, and everything you say is incredibly on point, then that person has already purchased from you. They've already bought. What they bought, though, was your wisdom and your knowledge and everything you've given them for free, but you see, they've already become your customer. So if you say, well, I will teach you how to have deep and restful sleep for the rest of your life, and or if you ever go into a period where you can't sleep again and you're high stress, you'll know exactly what to do. What's that worth? Realistically, worth more than you'd ever pay for a new couch or a car repair. I don't know, $1,500? What would you pay to have great sleep for the rest of your life? I'd even pay much more than that. $5,000? So you're undercutting your value. And when you do that, you're undercutting the value that other people also have for you. If you don't hold that value, other people are not going to see that either. They're going to go to somebody else they believe is more experienced and probably pricier. You may be equally experienced. So I'm not saying, charge as much as you can. I'm saying charge what you feel is in alignment with your true and actual value that allows you to support yourself. Because if you end up having to work some other dumb job that really doesn't capitalize on your greatest talent, you are cheating yourself and the world. And that's what happens to a lot of us. We go for the plan B, the second tier level, the one that isn't asked much of us, because then nobody's going to potentially judge us or critique us. And I think that's the final piece when it comes to conquering imposter syndrome. You will be judged and you will be critiqued. And some people will love you, adore you. They'll shout your praises. They'll sing your song. They'll promote you to the top of the food chain at work. And conversely, some people won't love you. They won't like you. They'll probably never like you. They're a waste of energy to spend your attention on. In fact, I often see people, I've done this too many times myself. Instead of giving my love and attention and skill to the people who appreciate me and absorb and get what I'm sharing, I'll instead focus on the handful that don't. And I'll obsess on it and squabble back and forth and wonder why and they're wrong. And all of my energy pours to the people who will never actually get it or get me or understand what I'm giving, my gifts. So remind myself of this constantly. I will have people who will occasionally say, I don't get you and I don't really like this and I wouldn't pay you that. And that is perfectly okay, right? I don't watch slasher horror movies. My son loves them, but I don't like them. I'll never like them. They could do a lobbying campaign to get me to like them, and it would not work, ever. It's just how it is. That's a privilege that I have of being able to have tastes and choices and things I desire and things I avoid. Everybody has that same beautiful privilege. And yes, occasionally you'll fall into the category of a person who doesn't get you or see you or appreciate you. In fact, we all can think of a person or two right now in our life who we suspect doesn't get us or see us or appreciate us. So that's not a reason not to go forward with what you want to give to this world. That would be allowing the haters to win, to put it as bluntly as I can. And we don't do that. We pivot toward the people who say, tell me more. And that's interesting. And, you seem to be speaking directly to me. Are you reading my mind? That's what a lot of my clients say to me. And I'm like, yes, I actually am reading your mind. That's kind of what I do. It's part of my skill set. But it means that I know we're going to work well together. I know we're going to be effective. And I know they're going to feel grateful for whatever they ended up paying me. Because what I give them is going to last a lot longer than whatever amount of hours it took for them to earn that money. My hope is that what I give them lasts a lifetime. And maybe, I know I'm a coach, so I do personal growth and change and I reveal information that's otherwise hidden to them, etc. But maybe you are a tour operator, a totally different world. But you give somebody a memory that's going to last a lifetime. A year or two ago, I was in Italy with my kids, took my kids for the first time. My daughter had just taken a whole class on Pompeii, the history of it. And I said, we're going to go. You're going to see this in person. We hired a private guide to take us through Pompeii and Herculaneum. And I don't even remember what I paid that guide now. I mean, I'm sure it was, something private tour. But you know what I do remember? Because isn't that funny? It's kind of telling. I don't remember what I paid. What I do remember is the looks on my kids' faces. I remember standing and looking out at the different ruins. I remember pieces and snippets. I remember the experience, and I will hold that feeling, that memory for decades. I'll be able to talk with the kids around the table at holidays or dinner. You remember when we were standing in Pompeii and we had to go down into that little tiny windy area? This is what you're giving. And so you can't be afraid that somebody's going to say, you're too expensive, you're not good enough, someone else is better. You know what? There could have been a better tour guide for Pompeii. I would never know. Why? Because I was satisfied. I was totally 100% satisfied. Complete. Ticked all my boxes. Perfect. I want you to leave with this one last thought, this one last feeling. When people arrive in our lives and we arrive in theirs, there is an alignment and a synchronicity that's often or always involved. You can kind of bet that if somebody has found you and they're asking, what do you do? Are you any good at it? You can kind of bet that they're going to be the right person for you and you for them. There's an alignment. And occasionally, yes, there won't be, but it becomes pretty clear to both parties quickly. Like, no, I'm not the person for you. And they're like, yeah, you said something, but then you kept talking and I didn't like it. It's like, yeah, we kind of figure it out. So if you have people coming into your life and you're still feeling like, I'm not good enough for you, I can't charge, I can't offer, I can't take on that new project, etc., whatever it may be, the only one who's saying that to you is you. The outside world is saying, come on, the door is open. Walk into the party. How many times do we have to keep showing up and inviting you day after day? So from here, your job is to say yes. And your job is to strengthen and own what you know about yourself. And you can certainly say, hey, I am not the best at this yet. I'm only, doing this for a year, or this is a new area for me, or I haven't handled a project like this before, but I'm really eager. And I think that really good things will come from this. And I think it will be a fantastic experience. You are totally allowed to say that. You do not have to be the top of the heap. And honestly, people, like I said, they align to the people that they're on level with. Again, years ago at Hay House, I used to, run all these radio shows and webinars, and I built out all of the audio books and audio products we put out, and people would sometimes email me and they'd say, how do you have Sylvia Browne on there and Dr. Wayne Dyer? Because they say opposite things and it doesn't make any sense. And certainly if you're running a spiritual network, they should all be saying the same thing. And I'd always say back, because Sylvia Browne is going to talk directly to the hearts of a certain group of people. They're going to get her. They're going to be like, I know you. I know your life. I know what it took to embrace your talents and skills. And other people are going to say to Wayne Dyer, I feel you. I hear you. I love your intellect. I love your foresight. And he will speak to them. There is someone for everyone, and everyone will speak a particular language. So maybe you're a beginner. You are going to find beginners that you relate to, that relate to you. I'm, again, a case in point. I've been teaching flow dreaming, this technique and mindset and energy work for so long. I have to remind myself to break it down to the basics nowadays. I skip over the fundamentals often. And people are scratching their heads like, that sounded cool, but I didn't really follow. And I'm like, that's right. Because I'm not in the basics anymore. I forget to even discuss them. It's an assumption for me. And I think to myself, you need somebody who was me about 10 years ago, because they're going to speak directly to you and you're going to hear it, know it, own it, and shoot forward in your life as a result. I am not your teacher. Get somebody who's starting the journey or a little further than you. There will be a person, a layer, a level that matches every single one of us. And that is where we're meant to be. We are meant to go through all those layers, all those levels, all those steps. It's part of our journey, and it's part of the journey of everybody we're working with. Whether it's a company, an employer, a client, customer, whatever. So if you're a baker and you make the best cupcakes in town, I want you to put up a sign, best cupcakes in town, and own it. There's no faking this. Yeah, and maybe your cupcakes will be too sweet for some people and they just won't go there. They'll go get the whole wheat bran muffins down the street. That's fine. This is why you are not an imposter. You are perfect where you are. You are perfect at your level of learning. You are perfect at your level of giving, sharing, guiding, instructing, managing, whatever it is you do. You are right where you need to be. And you just have to select yourself for whatever it is you want next. Let the world catch up, whip their heads around, and notice you when you walk in the door, because you decided inside yourself, this is who I am. And when y'all can figure that out and see me, your eyes will open and you'll notice. But until then, I'm going to live as if I know who I am, what I'm worth, and where I'm going, and what lights me up. I hope this was enriching and really got you thinking and reminding you. I hope right now you're feeling super inspired to go out and do that thing that you've been holding back on, that you've been waiting to be more prepared for, waiting to be more recognized for, thinking you're not going to be up to it against the competition. Do not cull yourself before the world culls you. C-U-L-L. Too often we do that. Do not do that to yourself. Go in, stand up, show yourself, choose. Go do the thing. And then go do a few more after that. And then tomorrow do a few more. Pick yourself, run with it. Don't let anybody else pick it for you. They've all got their own lives. We all get exactly one life. You've got yours, they've got theirs. Don't let them get yours too. You choose it and run. If you are curious about what that would mean for your life, right? If I rang that bell in your soul right now, I do encourage you to reach out to me. I am working with people all year long. It's my favorite thing to do, to work privately, one-on-one, and coach others. I also have a beautiful mastermind, low cost, and every month we do workshops, rituals, energy work, flow dreaming, journaling. It is a constant growth, spoon-fed to you month after month. So check out my website, flowdreaming.com. Check out my flow dreams, right? That's the core of it. I have a lot of episodes where I do describe what flow dreaming is, and I really encourage you to check those out because I don't re-describe it every single time. But I hope you dig in, find some flow dreams or playlists or a course or two that really speaks to your heart, and start going with this. In fact, one that I'd particularly recommend for today's episode is called Confidence. That's it. It's a playlist. I think there's about 3 tracks in it, 3 or 4. And everyone is there to help you kind of bloom into yourself, to take ownership. So go find that at flowdreaming.com or the Flow Dreaming app. And with that, I'm going to send my love to you all. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you're feeling kind of woken up, a little passionate, a little eager, and feeling like, I've got this. Why am I not doing this? And you dive in and do it. Until next time, I'll see you all in another episode of Flow Dreaming, Still Kinda Woo Woo. Take care. I love to work with you one-on-one. I get to see the most exponential growth in those of you who work with me privately every month. I'm part coach, part mentor, part energy worker, and intuitive. What I do is beyond traditional coaching in many ways, since I add in all kinds of information you wouldn't normally have access to. And the results speak for themselves. I have hundreds of glowing testimonials you can read for yourself at my website or just reach out and ask me. We begin working together with an assessment of your life, what you want, and where you've been, where you're going. We focus deeply on patterns, blocks, and what you plan to achieve or become next within yourself and within your life. Last, we're going to carry your desires right into the heart of the universe by flow dreaming together as I lead you in every session with a personalized, customized flow dream. You're going to end up with dozens of these, plus a plan. Now you've got two options. You can either take me for a test run with an introductory private session, or we can just jump in and explore what a longer relationship working together would do for your life. Just visit flowdreaming.com, search for private sessions, and I really look forward to meeting you.